during a high-pressure competition that was the Voice Season 27 playoffs, which was broadcast in late April 2025, there was one performance that stood out as a defining moment of the season. That performance was Conor James' explosive reimagining of Chappell Roan's Pink Pony Club. The singer-songwriter, who is 24 years old and hails from Austin, Texas, took the glitzy pop hit and converted it into a soulful, genre-defying performance that left audiences, coaches, and social media buzzing. The purpose of this 1,000-word investigation is to go into the brilliant performance that James gave, its deviation from the original, and the impact that it had on his journey throughout the competition and beyond. Conor James's ascent to the top. First, it is important to have a solid understanding of Conor James' career before deconstructing the performance. Although James was little unknown prior to his participation on The Voice, he was raised in a musical household and honed his talent in Austin's thriving live music scene. Snoop Dogg, Gwen Stefani, Reba McEntire, and Michael Bublé were among the coaches who praised his emotional delivery and vocal range during his blind audition, which consisted of a raw performance of Adele's song Skyfall. His audition won him a slot in the 4-chair round. James soon became a fan favorite after joining Team Gwen. He blended influences from soul, indie, and country music with a performance persona that was both intimate and authoritative. James had already demonstrated his flexibility by the time the playoffs rolled around, having tackled a wide range of songs, from Stevie Wonder's Superstition to Chris Stapleton's Tennessee Whiskey. On the other hand, his selection of Pink Pony Club, a daring and campy pop hit by Chappell Roan, a homosexual pop hero, caused eyebrows to be raised. If a vocalist is recognized for their soulful gravitas, will they be able to do justice to a song that is founded on sparthy escapism? Not only did James provide a solution to that question, but he also reinterpreted the song itself. Taking into consideration the original source material is the first step in appreciating James' version. Pink Pony Club is a euphoric tribute to self-discovery and emancipation, and it will be released in the year 2020 as a part of Roan's debut album, The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess. Roan's experiences at a homosexual bar in West Hollywood served as the inspiration for this song, which combines synth pop from the 1980s with present pop sensibilities. The song is propelled by pulsating beats, shimmering synths, and Roan's soaring vocals through its composition. Lyrically, it is a celebration of embracing one's personality, with lines such as "I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club," emanating defiance and excitement all throughout the song. As a result of the song's campy, theatrical mood and unapologetic queerness, it has become a standard in queer places and a TikTok sensation, thereby establishing Roan's position as a pop icon for the generation of young people. Its fast speed and sophisticated production, on the other hand, presented a challenge for a voice performance, which is typically characterized by raw vocals and emotional connection taking precedence above studio refinement. As soon as James got onto the stage of The Voice, it became immediately apparent that this would not be a relatively basic cover. James' rendition of Pink Pony Club was a daring blend of soul, gospel, and indie folk. He reimagined the song as a passionate voyage of self-acceptance, and he did it by removing the electronic sheen that had been there in the original. The arrangement, which was produced with input from Gwen Stefani and Tiana Woods, replaced the synthetic beats of the original with a sparse, organic soundscape. This soundscape consisted of a single acoustic guitar, a growing string section, and subtle percussion that built up to a climactic crescendo. The vocal performance that James gave was the driving force behind the reimagining. He began with a subdued tone that was almost personal, and he went into the emotion of the words, particularly in the line that read, "I know you wanted me to stay / but I don't want to be that way." His voice, which was full of grit and tenderness, conveyed a gentle ache, which transformed the narrative of the song into a universal story of breaking away from expectations. James was able to release his full vocal force as the concert went, hitting soaring high notes in the chorus that caused the audience to gasp in surprise. with James being accompanied by a trio of harmony vocalists who added a church-like reverence. The bridge became a raw, gospel-inflected shout of victory. The lyrics of the bridge were, "God, what have you done?" The concert was similarly impressive from a visual standpoint. James decided to go with a very simple stage setup, which consisted of a single lighting, a worn wooden bench, and a backdrop of flashing stars. He did this in order to avoid the bubblegum pink vibe of the original. He was dressed in a plain white shirt and pants, and he allowed his voice and emotion to carry the moment. Subtle choreography, such as swaying and reaching aloft during the bridge, gave it a mention of theatricality that was a tribute to Roan's flamboyant flair. Overall, the impact was cinematic while still being intimate, striking a balance between raw honesty and spectacle befitting of the voice. The responses from the coaches were instantaneous and congratulatory. James was praised for making the song feel like it was written for you, while Gwen Stefani, who was clearly tearful, referred to it as a masterclass in storytelling. Snoop Dogg referred to him as a soul magician, and Reba Mcentire referred to the performance as having spiritual weight and compared it to a hymn to describe its impact. Michael Bublé, who is well known for his ability to provide constructive criticism, jumped up to clap and said, "You didn't just sing, you redefined what that song could be." After the performance, social media went into a frenzy. A number of fans uploaded videos to X with titles such as "Conor James just made Pink Pony Club a soul anthem," and "This is why the voice still matters." The performance became popular all around the world, with millions of views being accumulated for both #ConorJames and #PinkPonyClub. Chappelle Roan herself stepped in on the matter by tweeting, "Conor, you took my baby and made it yours. I can't get enough of it." James's position as the frontrunner was cemented as a result of the viral moment, which propelled him into the top 8. The reimagining that James did was successful for a number of reasons. Initially, his move in genre was not just courageous, but also respectful. The emotional heart of the song was honored, while at the same time making it accessible to audiences of voice who might not be familiar with Roan's work. This was accomplished by slowing down the tempo and putting an emphasis on acoustic components. Despite the fact that the song was performed in an LGBT context, the gospel and soul influences resonated with audiences because they touched on universal themes of liberty. James' vocal choices demonstrated his range and control, which is the second point. In addition to his technical skill, his ability to go from whisper quiet verses to powerful choruses was a demonstration of his emotional delivery, which made every note feel like it was coming from him. It was his vocal journey that was paralleled by the progression of the arrangement, which went from being sparse to anthemic. This created a narrative arc within the 3-minute performance. In the end, the performance had an honest feel about it. James, who has been very vocal about his issues with self-acceptance as an LGBT musician in Texas, applied his own personal experience to the lyrics of the song. The decision that he made to dedicate the performance to anyone who's ever felt they didn't belong provided depth to the song, turning it from a pop banger into a worldwide hymn. The performance that Conor James gave was a turning point in his career. It was a demonstration of his willingness to take chances, a quality that carried him all the way to the end of the competition and beyond. According to reports, record labels are circling, and analysts are anticipating that a contract will be reached that will enable James to combine elements of soul, indie, and pop in his debut album. His reimagining also brought Chappelle Roan to the attention of a wider audience, which resulted in an increase in the number of streaming of Pink Pony Club after the show. In an era that is dominated by streaming and TikTok, James' performance for The Voice reinforced the show's relevancy in the entertainment industry. By providing musicians like as James with a stage on which they may adapt contemporary successes, the event bridges the gap between different generations and genres, thereby maintaining its relevance in its 27th season. Additionally, the performance brought to light the significance of trainers such as Stefani, whose knowledge in pop music assisted James in navigating the transition from pop to soul music musically. The cover that James has created comes at a time when pop music is becoming more flexible, with singers like Roan, Billie Eilish, and Post Malone breaking the barriers between different genres. His emotional rendition of a queer pop anthem is also reflective of a cultural trend toward inclusivity, which is characterized by the resonance of stories of self-discovery across cultural identities. James exemplified the power of music to bring people together through a common humanity by bringing Pink Pony Club to the attention of the general public and thereby amplifying its message. The reimagining of Pink Pony Club that Conor James gave during the playoffs of The Voice Season 27 was more than just a performance, it was a statement. Through the transformation of a glitzy pop hymn into a journey that stirred the soul, James demonstrated his skill, genuineness, and capacity to connect with another person. Not only did the performance improve his ranking in the competition, but it also paid tribute to Chappelle Roan's vision, while simultaneously personalizing it in a way that was entirely his own. This moment will be remembered as the night that James transformed a pink pony into a soaring star, leaving an everlasting impression on the show and its audience. As James continues his journey with The Voice, this moment will be recognized as important.